Season 2, Episode 38. Now, here's a Mythbuster. Got a goal and you just can't hit it? Well, fill up here and we'll help you get it. Learn the goal achievement success system here on Goal Getting Podcast and put some gas in your goals to power you to the finish line. Let's go, friends. Rev up your engines and let's take off for success. Hello, goal getters, and welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us on Goal Getting Podcast. This is your host, Tony Woodall, and I am glad you could make it back today. Today we've got a great quote from the famous Warren G. Bennis. Warren says, "The most dangerous leadership myth is that leaders are born, that there is a genetic factor to leadership." Well, this myth asserts that people simply either have certain charismatic qualities or not. Well, that's nonsense. In fact, the opposite is true. Leaders are made rather than born. And I would agree with Warren Bennis on that. Thank you, Mr. Bennis. Warren G. Bennis was a scholar and renowned author on leadership, perhaps one of the founders and forerunners of the modern leadership movement. Warren Bennis has debunked the myth that leaders are born, and that cannot be farther from the truth. As Mr. Bennis said, the thought that people are born with leadership skills that is part of genetics is total nonsense. It's a myth. Leaders are made. Leaders learn skills as leadership itself is a skill. Many people with upbringings that are less than stellar, with ancestors that were far from leaders, have made great leaders. They learned the skills necessary to lead and then applied those skills. Charisma is not necessarily a genetic trait. Many people learn the science and mechanics to understand life and people and then take that into their mental thought processes and become that person, that leader. This thought, I believe, stems from the male-dominated business environments of the past, where they believed that only men were capable of being leaders. Therefore, they had the genetic makeup, as they say, required to be leaders. Well, we all know this is bunk, so let's face it. There have been many great leaders that have been women. Their genetic makeup had nothing to do with it. Don't let this old myth stop you from striving to be a good leader. Learn what makes a good leader, and then strive to be a great leader. Go out today and learn to be a great leader, and then be a great leader. Hey, goal getters, I want to thank you for listening to Goal Getting Podcast. This is your host, Tony Woodall. I'm going through some transitions in life at the moment, and as I do this, I started thinking about my original goal for the podcast. The original goal was to provide tips, strategies, and inspiration to goal getters like you. I had originally set the podcast up as a weekly edition with the then intent of sharing the lessons of my goal achievement success system and to interview expert guests that had achieved success in areas of their lives that I thought goal getters like you might be working on yourself. Now, I started an experiment in July of last year, providing the goal-getting quote of the day, and it was well received, and I had a lot of you start following me because of that edition. I thank you so much for coming by and listening, and I hope you enjoyed those. The frequency went from 1 day a week to 7 days a week, with 1 day being the weekly lesson or the interview. Well, when my career changed in September, which you may remember was a goal I had set and achieved 2 years sooner than I expected, my schedule got so much busier at work. I took a winter break to start Season 2, which would be longer segments focusing on a quote and a longer lesson then to go along with that quote. And I wanted to keep the podcast down to less than 20 minutes. Well, with the new transition that I'm currently involved in and the increased workload at the office and my work on wellness goal that I'm committed to, I realized that I must go back to the original plan of the podcast. I hope you'll understand and will continue to support Goal Getting Podcast. Please let me know what you think. Post your comments in our comment section on our show notes page, and that's at goalgettingpodcast.com/S2-E38. That's /S2-E38 at goalgettingpodcast.com, which is Season 2, Episode 38. We're going to talk today and have a great day, and I want you to go out and have a great day because, well, you just need to. You need to make yourself happy. You need to enjoy life. You are and can be a great leader, but the first thing you have to do is learn to lead your own life. And you need to take control. You need to be a great leader. Lead your own life. Do what you need to be happy. This is Tony Woodall with Goal Getting Podcast. Go out and make today a great day.